Each opponent mills 8 cards. If this spell was kicked, each opponent mills half their library instead. It was kicked. Oy. That's gonna be a few cards. The graveyards are very full. Very, very full. Today on Commander Replay, we check out Killian Ink Duelist and play a very strange game after the libraries get cut in half. Next on Commander Replay. Hey guys, help support me and save 15% on singles by using the promo code REPLAY at mothershipaTX.com. Commander Replay t-shirts, available in orange and colors beside orange. Welcome back everyone, playing some Killian Ink Duelist today, and today's deck list comes to us from Patreon supporter Nate. This opening hand does not look like it's going to work, so we're going to mulligan that into a hand that also doesn't work, into also not amazing. I think that puts us on 5. Mulligan again. There's some lands. Alright, let's keep this. What are we putting back? I think the Hyena Umbra and the Mother of Ruins. Castle Lochtwain is going to have to be our card draw. Hopefully we don't lose too much to it. But we do have lifelink in the command zone. So Killian Ink Duelist, 2 mana for a 2/2, lifelink, menace, spells you cast that target a creature you control cost 2 less to cast. So gives us cost reduction on auras and things like that. Should be pretty interesting. Opponent goes Soul Ring into Blackblade Reforged. That will get scary as the game goes on. There's an Angelic Gift. That draws a card when it comes in that gives us a redraw. That's actually like kind of a big deal. This one enters tapped, so let's get that one into play. And we'll pass like that. Soul Ring for opponent. Wrexial opponent. Not great. Into a Worn Power Stone. All the ramp. Birds of Paradise for opponent. Yeah, just a lot of ramp happening over there. A lot of ramp. That's why I kept the board wipe. I'm probably going to need that. The question is, do we even lay down our commander? There's a swamp. Lands are good. We can get some like early lifelink menace going. Yeah, just in case opponents don't completely explode and we have to wipe the board. Maybe it's worth waiting. No, let's get something going. Hopefully our early game will propel us enough to have a decent late game. That's kind of what I'm hoping on here. So we'll cast Killian. But there is definitely a world where we could not cast this and then Toxic Deluge. Now, as long as we don't commit all of our enchantments to it, just blowing up Killian by itself isn't the end of the world. I don't know that this deck is going to ramp particularly well. I would say that this has a fairly unusual construction to it. It's almost entirely 2-drops. This is atypical of a deck. Looks like there's a Mind Stone and a Signet and a Fellwar Stone in there. Hopefully we run into those at some point. My first critique would be maybe add some stuff up here. Spread it out a little bit. There's a Demonic Tutor. Talisman for opponent. Into Whisper Silk Cloak is a card. Take a look at what our opponents are playing today. First up is Zombie Caller piloting Brokkos, Apex of Forever. He called it his Power Rangers deck. I don't really know what that means. I assume it's just a lot of mutate. That's my guess. We'll see how that goes. Definitely seen some Brokkos mutate decks. They're a little fragile in the sense that if you shoot the stack, it's really bad for them. But once they get like that 3rd or 4th mutate on there, you get a lot of value by doing stuff, kind of getting those repeated triggers. There's a couple nasty ones. Some of the black ones that mutate, kind of nasty. Sacrifice a creature, and I think it's like exile a card off the top and cast it, or something like that. Those can get you. I think there might be a discard one in there too. Brings back to our turn. Opponent did drop in there. Tanazir has got 2 counters on it. Yeah, that's going to be a problem real soon here. Play this Castle Lochtwain in case of a wheel. I think I'm just going to play the Dark Confidant. We'll see how long. Oh, man, if they just suit up a Blackblade Reforged. I guess we have a Swords. Yeah, we have a Sword. Set on a Swords. Cast the Dark Confidant. Poke Zach Ryan. Definitely want to hold on to this Dark Confidant as long as we can. We need to draw some cards. Opponent's going to crack the landscape. Sure. Also, if you guys like my content, be sure to like and subscribe. Maddening Cacophony. Each opponent mills 8 cards. If this spell was kicked, each opponent mills half their library instead. It was kicked. Oy. That's going to be a few cards. The graveyards are very full. Very, very full. A lot of lands in there. Animate Dead. That's where you want a Sun Titan. I don't think we have a Sun Titan. Yeah, a lot of cards all seem really cool. Migration Path. Putrefy. Hooded Hydra. Histodon. Oh, it's a morph deck is what it is. Okay. He was asking me about Kadena before the game. I did not have a Kadena lying around. Kadena, 12 tickets on Magic Online. Kind of expensive. And what do we have over here? Rishkar's Expertise. Mimic. Bane of Progress. Hornet Queen. Hopefully we hit the Eternal Witness. Scoot Swarm. Prime Speaker. Azuri's Predation. Michaeleth. Not seeing the Eternal Witness, so if they run into it, it's going to be bad. Yeah, opponent's gonna equip the Tanazir. Okay. It's a 9/9. I guess they don't have that many lands in yet, so it's not like it's a 20/20 yet. But let's see where they want to go. Gonna go into Zach Ryan, probably for milling 50 cards. Also sending the Birds of Paradise. That's rough. That's going to be a hit for 18. That'll be half of his life. Potentially forcing him into some removal if he has it, especially next turn. Yeah, Tanazir. Tanazir can punch some damage out. It is good at that. And it does look like a deck full of Simic good stuff, so that probably makes opponent the threat. Simic good stuff is not where you want to be. Brings back to our turn. There's a Dark Confidant trigger. More lands. Lands are fine. We do need to get those land drops. We'll eventually want to find some things that aren't lands. Do control of planes, so we'll play the castle. I think play the Angelic Gift. Try to get the cycling action going here. Draw a card. Darksteel Mutation is a card. Do we drop it on a Tanazir? It loses all abilities, right? It loses all abilities. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. That works out. Opponent's gonna Heroic Intervention. Well, I guess we had to get rid of that sooner or later. And now we will attack them. We go down to 36, 2 commander. Pass the turn. Zombie says his win con is useless now. It is probably milled into his graveyard without a way to get it back. That is unfortunate. Nothing like a little mill half your library to disrupt your opponents. If they're trying to combo, half the combo goes in the graveyard. You can't get it out. I've thought about using Mesmeric Orb as like a disruption piece in aggro decks, and sometimes it works. You do probably want a lot of graveyard removal just so you don't get burned with it, because Eternal Witness is really strong. Anything that gets stuff out of the graveyard is really strong, even when you're not talking about a Mesmeric Orb being in play. Evil Twin. Get the Tanazir? Makes his own Tanazir. Does he have Lightning Greaves? Actually, what does he doesn't currently have the mana. A Night Howler. Gets +X/+X, where X is the number of creature cards in all graveyards. It's gonna be giant. This is a pretty good play right here. Because now any creatures he plays after it will be absolutely huge. Zombie got something? Gonna cycle a Willbender and change the target. Oh my. It was the Willbender. Who's getting it? He's gonna put it on his Willbender. That should foster some bad blood. Willbender, now a 36/37. Watch out for that. That is pretty funny. Night Owler, pretty good if you're milling your opponents like crazy. I wonder if you could also run like Bone Horde. Not a bad idea. I should dig my Wrexial deck out and play with it more. Wrexial's so much fun. Our middle opponent, by the way, is Zach Ryan piloting Wrexial the Risen Deep, and we've seen this one on the channel. It is a self-mill deck. Whenever it hits an opponent, you can cast an instant or sorcery card from their graveyard without paying its mana cost. And it's also got Island Walk and Swamp Walk, so it's pretty cool. Pretty cool little card. Kind of an older school commander. Doesn't show up as much these days, but definitely a good time. That's a Deep Forest Hermit coming in. It's going to make some squirrels and give squirrels +1/+1. That's fine. And our final opponent is Dewubber piloting Tanazir Quandrix, which we've talked about a little bit. We have also played this one on the channel. And yeah, Tanazir just makes all your stuff huge. You make it big, it'll make all your other stuff big. And really good at pumping out the damage. There's a bunch of squirrels. See what opponent wants to do right here. If they come our way, I'll swords it. I don't feel like taking 1,000,000 damage. They're going to go over to zombie. Okay, that works. And the birds. And the birds, okay. Gonna cut them in half also. It's a 10/10. We'll just sit back idly as we try to claw out of this mulligan to 5. Goes down to 20, 10 commander. Pretty scary. Brings it back to our turn. Dark Confidant triggers. Sajiri Shelter and another land. Probably didn't need that last land. Play a swamp. Thinking about the Castle Lochtwain this turn. And opponent doesn't have a lot of flyers, so we'll keep poking them with the Killian. Is this the board wipe turn yet? I don't know. Feels early. I really want to ride this Dark Confidant as long as we can. So I guess we'll pass like that and just kind of use our lands. Opponent gets a Coffers into play. One of the new pretty ones. Traverse the Outlands. Get all of the lands in their deck because they have a 36/37. That is some ramp. Oh, we could swords that so they don't do it, but they are playing a morph deck without their real commander, so we'll let this happen, and we probably need to shoot this Tanazir anyway. Okay, they didn't get that many. They got like 5, I think. All things considered, that's not too bad. Still well ahead of us, but considering that could have been like 15 lands, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. On the other hand, being that they just ramped a bunch, if we let them kill them, This game will be really short for me to edit. Also, actually, he's got the Evil Twin ability on the Tanazir, so he may just activate that, so we don't have to deal with headaches. And that would also allow us to leave up our swords. It said Outland for 3? Was it only 3? Wow. Not even as good as I thought. Yeah, because they spent 5 to cast it. Yeah, they only got 3 off the Outlands. Okay. Yep. That's about the fairest traverse the Outlands I've ever seen. Wrexial coming in. Be a deer and pop that Tanazir. I'm telling opponent. No rhyme intended. Maybe intended. It works. Vanishing 3. Ticking down. Well, I told opponent to shoot this thing before the trigger. It doesn't look like they're doing that, so someone's probably gonna die. Okay, begin combat. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I just would have done it at the end step. That's one of those things, like, I just don't even want to mess around with it. Just do it now and get it over with. Yep, destroy the creature with the same name as Evil Twin. It's a Tanazir Quandrix. It will destroy a Tanazir Quandrix. I use this creature in Tap Creature Tribal, which I just finished filming before this game. Down goes the Tanazir to the command zone. Now the squirrels aren't that scary. We're at 44. Our opponents have been cut in half. We might get poked right here, but it's not the end of the world. Figure out how opponent wants to rebuild. Funny story. They could recast their Tanazir, and then they could just do this again. I had never thought about copying a commander with Evil Twin. You can do that repeatedly. That's kind of fun. Might search out Evil Twin next time I get an opportunity in my Tap Creature Tribal deck. No attacks. Down for that. Our Erebos got milled, which is a card I added. Something didn't import when I imported the deck, and I put an Erebos in his place. This deck does seem like it needs a bit more card draw, so was feeling that, but I don't know that we have a way to get that out. Shamanic Revelation. Opponent's going to draw some cards. Back up to 7. That's a pretty big draw. Pretty big draw right there. We're going to use the castle at the end step. It's going to hurt a bit, but we need to look at cards. It's a land. Gross. Down to 38. Dark Confidant trigger. Heliod's Intervention on thin ice. When it enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. Must enchant a snow land. Are we on the Heliod's Intervention turn? Play a Plains, I guess. We have 7 cards in hand. I might just stay back this turn. Try to do the Heliod's Intervention thing. We can go X4, so that would be like the Night Howler, the Whisper Silk, the Black Blade, and a Mana Rock of some kind. Question is, was it worth poking? Probably not. Is it worth board wiping? Is it the board wipe turn? Have we reached that? No, opponent just refilled. They're up to 7, so we should probably let them get a few things out first. Also, the board wipe doesn't deal with the Willbender, because we will not be pumping that much mana into Willbender. Yeah, I think we just pass like that, playing a little bit of control with what we got going here. I suppose, like, if opponent hits and just wipes the board with the Wrexial, that's not the end of the world either. I don't know why there's a Blight in this deck. When Enchanted Land it becomes tapped, destroy it. I don't know if that was like a missed entry in the thing, or if that's just a cute trick that Nate likes to play. I don't know. There's no way to know. Opponent's got a Demonic Tutor, sure. Any sort of graveyard recursion is really bad right here. Getting stuff back gives you a lot of options. Primal Command. Target player shuffles their graveyard into their library. Search for a creature. There you go. There you go. So they can get their win condition back. That's exciting. Doesn't change their board state that much, but just gives them the potential to be able to get the things they need. And also, it's nice for us in that, like, now we don't have to just worry about, like, a Living Death or something like that. Rise from the Dark Realms. One of those type cards. At least from their side. Opponent's got a Hideaway Land. Never see the black one. You may play the exile card without paying its mana cost if each player has no cards in hand. That's a difficult place to get to. Mass discard? I don't know. There's got to be some trick. The now 22-23 going over to Zach Ryan. That'll force him to block with Wrexial. Yeah, that works. That works. Wrexial goes down. This is good. We need to force our opponents to use some resources again while we try to catch up from that mull to 5. We're doing okay now. We have some cards to play, but we don't really have, like... We have a lot of removal. We don't have things that look like a win condition yet. There's a Bone Horde. It is in there. Nice. That will also be giant, and they will likely repay the favor to Zombie right here, I imagine. Living Weapon, it's got 21. Only 2 to equip. I've used this in Aurelia in the past. I would say it's probably not where you want to be these days, since it's really inconsistent about how many creatures are actually in the graveyard, and it only does damage, and there are a lot of cards that only do damage. Blackblade Reforged is probably just always going to be the best in that category, at least for the foreseeable future. I mean, yeah, this is essentially the same mana as Blackblade Reforged. Actually, that's even cheaper. 2 and 3 versus 4 and 2. Yeah. So it's not to say you can't use this thing, but... And I've definitely one-shot people with it, but I found it was pretty hard to actually live the dream while doing that. Opponent puts a Whisper Silk Cloak on the Germ. Yep. I probably would have just put it all on this Tanazir, honestly. You think you just boop zombie right out of the game? Or really cut into Jeff's life, repay the favor? Oh, he's trying to figure out if he kills zombie, does he get his bestow creature back? I think it goes away because the thing that it's on goes away. Oh, wait, no, bestow. How does bestow work? I actually have no idea how bestow works because I actually took some time off during that block. I wasn't playing so much Magic. So, didn't catch all the rulings on bestow. Yep, there's a 25-25 Tanazir. Equips everything up. Does not put the unblockable on it. Leaves the blue-black up. Here it comes. It's going to take down zombie. If this goes through, should be a nice and short game. Man, some of the ones that I filmed over the last couple weeks have all been like 2.5 hours, and I'm like, oh my god, it's going to take so long to edit these things. So, been looking for games that'll go a little bit quicker. This will be nice. Oh no, opponent's going to Arachnogenesis. It's going to fog it. Oh no. No. Again, getting opponents to use their own resources. Not bad. Not a bad place to be. I mean, if we want to play with fire, we could not Heliod's Intervention and let them try to do that again next turn. Because there's the other thing. If zombie untaps with this, Zach Ryan looks a little exposed. So maybe we don't Heliod's Intervention and we just keep drawing with this Castle Locktwain. Maybe we make a token in here too. That's a Nev Disc. How do I feel about that? Skyclave Relic. Not kicked. Opponent's got some tutus they can get busy with. What do they want to do with them? Nothing. No attacks. I guess they're waiting to get their commander back. That makes sense. I guess we're on Castle Locktwain is where we're at. Activate the castle. It's another land. Seem to have all the lands we need. Could use some other things. Rogue's Passage is a cool card. We'll play that land. Night's Whisper is cool. We'll play that one. There's a Signet. Sentinelize. Creature has +1/+1 and Vigilance. That's helpful. Let's get some of this stuff going. Play the Sentinelize. We've got a 3/3. We'll poke the Tanazir opponent. They will be scary here in a minute. And these two will probably take each other out. Don't want to do anything to disrupt that. Opponent goes down to 31. We go back up to 30. We'll pass like that. We'll have to discard hand size. We'll just get rid of a plains. There's a Beast Whisperer for opponent. Sure. Oh, opponent's going to untap with a Nev Disc. Forgot about that. Well, I guess we only committed 2 things. This one has escape, so we can get it back. Don't really want to lose the Signet. That's our ramp. But if someone dies right here, they'll be sort of ahead on board, I think. But having the ability to just tap a disc and blow everything up is not great. The other thing we might be able to do, actually, is force it at a more convenient time with the Heliod's Intervention. Or I guess we could do it X1. That doesn't really seem worth it, though. Zombie's going to swing into Zach. Let's see if Zach has anything. Doesn't look like it. Down he goes. Yeah, that Tanazir cutting him in half early. That really hurts. Life is a resource, and losing a lot of that resource does put you in jeopardy of just dying to, random things on the board. Also, with Zach leaving, the bestow thing is gone, so Willbender, now just a 1/2. Not very scary. The number of things we need to Heliod's Intervention has decreased a bit. Could just pop a bunch of mana rocks. I mean, Blackbladed Forge, Nev Disc are reasonable targets. Those are the 2 main ones. Anything else is kind of secondary. Opponent loses the Deep Forest Hermit. The 2/2s become 1/1s. And they're just going to go straight for the disc. How about that? Anything we can do? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I think just everything gets blown up. We'll float some mana like a professional, I guess. Killian back to the command zone. Yeah, that Signet. I'm sad about losing that Signet. Honestly, we need that ramp. Now, the mana curve in this deck is super low, as we looked at earlier, so that will help us, given the fact that we haven't generated a ton of mana. Tanazir coming back. I'm wondering if we have to shoot that. We can use the On Thin Ice to do it. Leave the swords for emergencies. Was hoping to get one more draw with that Dark Confidant. Yeah, it's an 8/8. They used an Opal Palace in there. Give it some counters. Dead Man's Chest. Enchant creature an opponent controls. When creature dies, exile cards equal to its power from the top of its owner's library. You may cast spells from among those cards as long as they remain exiled, and you may spend mana as over any color to do it. Well, that's interesting. We could Deluge it, but I don't really want to burn the Deluge on that. We'll just hit it with On Thin Ice, because this will slow them down, force them to recast it, and do all that stuff. If there were more things still on board, I would go for the Deluge, but on thin ice, exile the Tanazir. See where they want to send it. Probably the command zone. Yeah, they send it back to the command zone. We'll recast our commander. Good time to do that. Nope, almost didn't play a land this turn. Play our land. We got 3 mana left. Yeah, nothing crazy we can do right here, so we can escape this thing. Yeah, let's escape this thing. Just exile some lands. And pass like that. Opponent plays a face-down morph. Opponent plays a Sylvan Tutor. Potentially trying to assemble their win condition. Opponent revealed, at some point, a Master of the Veil and a Riptide Entrancer. Deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. If you do, gain control of target creature that player controls. Nasty. Quarcy Deceiver. Spend mana to cast face-down creatures only. Okay, just going for mana. If for some reason Tanazir got really big, like if Blackblade or Forge came back or something, this Dead Man's Chest could be pretty funny. You basically exile most of the rest of their library. Start thinking about the mill win. Opponent has a Letargia. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except it enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter. Activate as a sorcery. Yeah, that's a pretty good land. Another cool card out of Kaldheim. Seagate Restoration. Draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand +1. No max hand size the rest of the game. Yeah, just going for the card draw. What does Zombie have? What does Zombie have? Mischievous Quanar. Turn face up. Copy instant or sorcery spell. Choose new targets for the copy. Well, opponents are going to be drawing some cards. Very nice. Opponent goes up to 7. Zombie goes up to 9. Pay 7, draw 4. Ain't a great rate. Yeah. Opponent said there's a card in his hand that may crash the game. Lovely. Lovely. No one wants that. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Soul Ring. There's some much needed ramp. Play the Swamp. Play the Soul Ring. Go to combat. Swing into Dwelber. And we'll pass like that. Sit on our effects. We have a lot of removal. Demonic Tutor. Heartless Summoning. Oh boy. Oh yeah, it makes the morph creatures cheaper. Nice. Nice. Personally, I'd probably just go for Cloud Key and not take the -1/-1. The -1/-1 on Heartless Summoning is kind of rough. Especially since there are other ways to get cost reduction. Drop some morph in. We should check. We can see a few of them. Could be a Riptide Entrancer. We'll want to be careful of that. Here comes a Tendershoot Dryad. That's a nasty card. Void Mage Apprentice is turned face up. Counter target spell. Love it. Love it. It does die to state-based effects, though. Heartless Summoning. -1/-1. That's for a Cloud Key. I think you'd be much better served with that. There's a Beastmaster Ascension. Those are good. We're going to draw with the Castle Locktwain. We go down to 27. There's an Arcane Signet. More ramp. And then we shall make a token. I guess if you have Kadena, that makes your morphs cost, what, 1? It's really cheap, and you can probably loop through quite a bit of your deck, so I kind of get it, but I've just never been a fan of the -1/-1. There's an Austere Command, more removal that we do not need. Let's see if we can find something that speeds up our clock a little, because this game has turned into a Dirtle Fest. Activate the castle. It's another Plains. Oh my god. Play a Plains. Play the Arcane Signet. Keep poking away. 25 and 13 Commander. I'll tell you what, the fact that we can gain life back does make the castle much less painful, because our life would be a lot lower than 22, probably like around 10 or something if we hadn't been gaining life with Killian this whole time. There's Brokkos. Yep. Gonna mutate onto the thingy. Oh, you can turn that creature face down? What's it do? Whenever it's turned face up, you may copy instant or sorcery spell. Interesting. Another morph coming in. Yep. Another morph coming in. Brokkos coming our way. It's a 5/5, but it's commander damage. We can take. Maybe we Dead Man's Chest it. We'll see. It does have trample, so throwing the 1/1 in front, not that helpful. We go down to 17, 5 commander. So they can copy a spell for like 10 mana? 8 mana. They currently have 7 mana. So I don't think they can copy the spell this turn. Opponent drops in a Dryad Arbor. Tanazir coming back. Comes in with a +1/+1 counter, and it'll double those +1/+1 counters. Number of times equal it's been cast, so this is going to be, large. So now we're thinking about the Dead Man's Chest. Dead Man's Chest, Austere Command, yeah. I think big creatures and enchantments. Oh no, it destroys the enchantments first, which means we can't blow up the enchantments. Liquid Metal Coating. We can turn this into an artifact is what we can do. That works. Dead Man's Chest on this Tanazir. Oh, this affects... this doesn't matter whose creature you target. Very cool. Play the Liquid Metal Coating. Turn... Hopefully it doesn't fall off if it becomes an artifact. Let's find out. No, it becomes an artifact in addition. Okay. Okay, that doesn't work the way I hoped it did. That being the case, I might just go for the Deluge then, because of the weirdness with Austere Command and the timing. The enchantments get blown up before the creatures, and I had that matter one time, and it was terrible. So, let's go to combat. We do have Menace, so they won't be able to block. Keep poking away. Slowly getting there. Does this not have flying? It no longer has flying. Whoops. Whoops, messed that up. What should we do? That was not intended. Burn the Sajiri Shelter? No, it's fine, I think. Yeah, I'll burn the Sajiri Shelter. Naming green. Yeah, it's only a single white mana, so... Could have did that differently. Oops. I forgot that we don't have flying anymore. I thought this one gave it flying. It does not. It gives it vigilance. Oh, right, there's no reason to do this if, we're gonna Deluge. Well, that was dumb. Well, we forced the opponent to use the thing, but that was definitely dumb. Wow. Yeah, maybe too much magic for one day. I'll lose in focus here. Definitely just wasted a Sajiri Shelter, which is a really good piece of protection. We will gain some life back, but then we will immediately burn it all with the Toxic Deluge. Although I guess we don't need to go as much on the Deluge now, and that's kind of cool. This took 2. Should have ordered the damage differently also. Tanazir's at 10. We'll go for 8 on this Deluge. See what kind of cool stuff we get off the Dead Man's Chest. Some life gain in there wouldn't be terrible. Board gets wiped. Dead Man's Chest trigger. We exile. What do we exile? Why don't I see anything? I don't think it worked. We see only a forest and a Makokoro. And, oh! Dead Man's Chest is a Nambo with Toxic Deluge. That's why. Okay. Okay. Oh, man. We were doing great up until this turn, and then just fell apart. Recast our commander. That, if we had managed things better, probably would have won us the game. Although, I guess we didn't have a way to kill the thing, because Austere Command doesn't do it, and Toxic Deluge doesn't do it. But, oh, that's disappointing. It's really disappointing. I mean, at this point, we could be on, like, Heliod's Intervention for life gain. Because then if we do that, we can use the castle more freely. Court of Calling, X5. What do you go for right here? Has a Bane of the Living in the deck. I used to use that card way back in the day. Ixodron flips our commander over. Not ideal. It stops the life gain, which I don't love. There's a Morph. There's a Karsi Deceiver. Kodama's Reach. Boots. Back to our turn. Another land. Didn't need that. Play the land. Can we lose 4? Yeah, we can lose 4. All That Glitters is a card. Do we... Maybe we try to get our commander killed first. Or do we just kill it now? We have the Heliod's Intervention for life. Still thinking about that. How many artifacts and enchantments do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll be 5. And we could use this to make 6. So it'll be plus 6. That's 8. That's Xaxes on Dewubber. Yeah, for the sake of time management here, this game is getting really long. I think we're going to try and take them out. It's a 7/7. Liquid Metal Coating on a land. Swing into Dewubber. Jeff goes down. Get this game moving along. Yeah, we'll just pass with all of our stuff up. Next turn, so we just need to survive this turn. Next turn, we can get back our escape thing, which will give us +2 power. Use the liquid metal coating to give us +3 power. And then we just need to find 1 more power somewhere. And we can use Rogue's Passage to make it unblockable. That's an emergent ultimatum. Search your library for up to 3 monocolored cards, different names, exile them. An opponent chooses one of those cards, shuffled into your hand. You may cast the other cards without paying their mana cost. Gross. This would be bad. It's like Guided Passage, but so much stronger. Guided Passage, really cool card from back in the day. You have to build around it in some real weird ways, but when the only creature they can get is Angel of Despair, it's kind of scary. At least it was 15 years ago. Put a card back into Zombie's library. Click to have it shuffled into their library. What? I don't see the window. I don't know where I'm supposed to click. Oh, here we go, exile. Primordial Mist, shuffled into their library. They play the others without paying their mana cost. Deals combat damage to a player. That player exiles the top 10 cards of the library. That's kind of scary. And Obscuring Ether. Face down creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. That makes them free. Exile a face down permanent you control this turn. You may play that card. I'm guessing Obscuring Ether is the one to go with here. Primordial Mist for free. They can manifest, exile a face down, and then the Raven Guildmaster. That one dies immediately because of Heartless Summoning. Bummer. No big deal there. So they only end up with a Primordial Mist. For what they paid, that's not too bad, actually. I think we've got a real good shot here. There's a Morph. Opponent's going to poke with a 1/1, yep. If it turns face up and becomes, you know what we can do? We can block with a token. Make a token. Opponent's going to cast our Sajiri Shelter somehow. Whatever. I'm going to guess that with this 4 mana, this isn't going to do 8 damage. It's got Pro White. Can't block. And I guess worst case scenario, we Heliod's Intervention for X1. We go down to 7. They're going to manifest. Sure. They manifest. Caves is not an enchantment off the top. Disappointing. Disappointing. Maybe something like swing with our commander, make it unblockable, austere command, recast commander. It's probably a little more mana than we have, but let's get the escape thing. Sentinel's Eyes, exiling some lands, make it unblockable, swing away, turn a land into an artifact. Oh, we can scry with this land too. I guess we're better off with the castle just drawing. What do we think the chances on another Willbender are? When it goes to 10 and 10 commander, let's go austere command. All creatures? I think all creatures. Actually, enchantments are good too. Yeah, because if they flip something up into a big creature, that could be a bit of a problem for us. Although, I guess we still have a blocker. No, because the blocker will get... yeah, just go all creatures. He doesn't have blue mana up for a counterspell one, so that's good. Killian back to the command zone. We can't recast it, but they lose all their stuff. Pass like that. Obscuring Ether. Face down creatures cost 1 less to cast. They are now free. They're going to turn that face down, sure. It's a 1/1. Brokkos coming in. Oh, they're going to mutate onto it. I see. I see. Opponent manifests at the end step. Bonder's Enclave. That's card draw. That doesn't cost us life. Cast our commander. It's going to cost 8. That's a bit. Leave up our effects. Pass the turn. Oh, actually, you know what? If we catch this in time, we should swords this before they... No, they do have blue mana up. Okay. Natural Order. I'm sure this is bad. Sacrifices a creature. Search for a green creature. Put it into play. It's a Krosan Cloudscaper is what it is. It's a 12/12. Doesn't have haste yet. Whoa, the commander damage from earlier did not register. I don't think it did anyway. They were already at 10, right? Maybe they weren't at 10. Were they not at 10? Did I make a mistake somewhere? I made a few already this game. Brokkos coming back onto the Cloud Scraper. Do we want to give them that much life? I don't know that we do. Let's try and swords this thing. The 13/13 is, yeah, 13/13 with trample. Gonna be a problem for us. Oh, our commander's not big enough to activate the Bonder's Enclave. This is one that I dropped in here, by the way. The deck felt thin on card draw. And Brokkos into play. Temple of the False God. Down to 1 card in hand. Reflections of Letargia. Choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, copy that spell. Seems good. Chosen type is Nightmare. Interesting. Activate the castle. It's a Black Later Forge, thank God. Oh my God. This game's been going on for so long. Primordial Mist. Cast the Black Blade Reforged. We draw an Ethereal Armor if we want to pump it up more. Equip the Black Blade Reforged. Yep, Black Blade Reforged still really good. And make it unblockable. Send in Killian. Down he finally goes. On the multi-5 nonetheless, but weird game. The Mill 50 really kind of messed some stuff up for a lot of people, I think. And just put the game into a weird spot. And then there were huge things swinging away. People are losing half their life all at once. I'm surprised that this game went to turn 15, being that 2 players were at 20 by like turn 5 or 6 or whatever it was. So that was kind of surprising. But yeah, so one thing I want to look at in this deck, I feel like there might be more removal than is necessary. So I'm going to make some piles here, and we'll see what kind of stuff we're working with. So there's a lot of really interesting cards that we didn't get to see on account of the mill, which is unfortunate. We're looking at about 14 removal spells in the deck. That's not too bad. It felt like there were many more than that, but you could probably cut 1 or 2. I mean, that thing seems pretty good, honestly. What would I get rid of? I already cut a Vindicate, actually, to get some other stuff in here. We have this Blight. I don't know what this is really all about. Maybe it's about, like, just popping people's lands. If you see a land you don't like, it's a reasonable way to do it. But we can definitely free that slot up right there. I personally would probably get rid of one more thing. On Thin Ice is fine, but I think we can live without it. What I would definitely add is some sort of recursion into the deck, so Sun Titan is a good one. Definitely some sort of mass enchantment thing. Open the Vaults is the first one that comes to mind. There's about 4 white cards that have this type of effect on it. There's that Suspend one. I forget the name of it. That just came out. Resurgent Belief. You could look at something like that also, but it might be a little bit trickier with the Suspend. People kind of see it coming. There's another one out of Original Mirrodin too that's like 7 mana that I forget. Or maybe that one's Artifacts. Or is it Artifacts and Enchantments? I can't remember. I guess there's also Triumphant Reckoning, but that's a lot of mana. So definitely an Open the Vaults. Probably a Savine's Reclamation, especially based on the mana curve of this deck. Definitely bring in something like that. And maybe a Hall of Heliod's Generosity into the land base. Pull out this Pathway. The other thing too, there could be a little bit more card draw in the deck. I would love to see Ambition's Cost, Ancient Craving, that type of stuff in here. I'm not a huge fan of draw 2s, especially Sign in Blood. Night's Whisper is a little easier just because of the mana. You can go for one of them, but again, I'm just not huge on a draw 2. I just don't think it's powerful enough. I personally would probably replace it with like a Promise of Power or a Moonlight Bargain or something like that. I don't know that Pure Steel Paladin's good enough in this deck. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's more equipment than I thought. It's fine. The free equips are cool. Sigarda's Aid is a card, I guess maybe Sigarda's Aid is a little bit better for auras. I find that I don't really need it with equipments that much. Being able to drop some auras in at instant speed and get around board wipe is kind of a big deal. Equipments stay in place, so you don't worry about the board wipe too much. Couple cards over here. I did add a Well of Lost Dreams for some card draw. Could be interesting with the lifelink ability. Put an Erebos in there too, also for some card draw. We'll drop the Night's Whisper. But anyway, yeah, those are some changes I would make to the deck. It felt a little weird because of the mill and just the part of the deck that we drew. It did feel a little bit removal heavy. I would probably add definitely some of this stuff, some ways to get things back, a little bit of card draw, and maybe like 1 or 2 more cards in here that just really bring the damage, be that artifacts or auras, whatever's available in the card pool. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon, link below.